So what we're suggesting here is that what Congressman Pence is proposing is a window dressing, being a conservative.
Yeah, he's not talking about lowering spending.
There's no pledge here that he's going to, say, follow Paul's lead to vote against the bill.
Right, he's just not going to put no more earmarks in.
Yeah.
So, 6 districts not going to get any of their money back.
So there won't be any improvement to the town, there won't be any...
No, those come out of different funds. What I'm saying is if there's an actual public works thing that they want and they ask their senator for, the senator can put it in a bill, like a water tower or whatever, and then they send the money back. But our normal functions are going on. It's just any project, if we wanted to improve.
Oh, that's now very interesting. I'm going to hang you up just a moment there.
Sure.
You use that phrase, send the money back. And that's what we're often told, is that our tax dollars are coming back to us in these earmarks. And the reality of it is that all of our 1040s and our withholdings combined don't pay the interest on the national debt. So any money that comes back here is what?
Borrowed.
Thank you, Christina.
So we're going to pay interest on that, and we had talked about in that one segment. Oh, good. That's what we needed, more
So
interest.
that's why it's much more essential that rather than a politician address earmarks, he actually address the appropriations bill in total. Forget about the local
Not even
earmarks.
that. Mine is address spending. None of them talk about,
Addressing a balanced budget.
let's talk about, okay, we still have that $1 million and my district's not going to get it. Let's talk about where we're spending this money. Okay, Ron Paul has suggested, I don't have the numbers in front of me, we could save a ton from, if we just stop our world empire. We have bases in
37 countries.
137 countries, and there's only 160-some countries, 170 countries. So we're about a 70% ratio for being in other countries.
The empire is well fortified.
Yes, we're doing a good job. We fund all that, and that money, if you're a soldier on those bases, you buy wherever you're at. If you're in Iraq or China or Europe,
Their economy is being boosted by ours. Right.
and then what you said, walk the walk, talk walk. I do that. I no longer shop at Walmart because the money goes right. It's Chinese products. I'm not bashing anyone, but I'm trying to stimulate our economy. I only go to small businesses now, local businesses. Fort Wayne, because when when you're up that creek without that paddle, we're going to need each other.
You better believe it.
I want to make sure that I've made some friends.
Speaking of walking the walk, don't forget now, we're manuring a much larger space for a garden this year.
Yes, I'm growing a garden. I got
we're
gardening for dummies.
expecting Melissa.
I've never gardened. Hey, I'm taking some of this year. If nothing else, I got a garden next year, But nobody talks about spending. Our local government, Mayor, we all know that property taxes in Indiana got cut to 1%, so we're all, yay, hooray.
Yeah.
Well, then the mayor of Fort Wayne comes out and says, well, no, I'm not going to have enough for my budget. I think we need to talk about raising the entire county taxes.
Yeah.
He's not saying, you know what, I may have to relook at the budget now that I don't have enough money and cut some spending. Cut some spending.
Exactly.
And I've hugged it enough, guys. I don't want Norm back there to yell at me off camera, so,
Well, that would be my basic tenet that, the balanced budget, the spending must be addressed. And if it's addressed properly, there's plenty of resources that are flowing to support local activity within the state.
well, and that's what I want to address, because I know people, when they hear the spending, they think, oh gosh, now the poor aren't going to get fed. Now we're not going to have these things. They have to realize that's not, the poor can get fed if we have more money in our pocket. Charities work. I've donated many times to charities, but if they take another 20% out of my paycheck, the poor aren't going to get fed.
Because you're poor.
Yeah, so I can't contribute to the poor. So all you're doing is stealing out of my pocket to put in someone else, not realizing it's actually more people have wealth.
And
Socialism?
and the reality of it is that 85 to 90% of the money which presumably is awarded or is created to fund is actually absorbed in administrative overhead. It doesn't ever actually get to the beneficiary.
No child left behind. We send our money to Washington, so a nice agency. Okay. Well, our debt, but we have this nice building in Washington that's got a whole bunch of secretaries, got some managers, and they sit in an office and we pay their salaries, and they look and they say, you know what, that school in Fort Wayne is not very good, so we're not gonna give them any of their money back. Because we have to first pay all their salaries to determine that Fort Wayne schools aren't as good, and they're in Washington. And so when Ron Paul says, no, get rid of the Department of Education, everybody's like, oh, we can't do that. We're paying for a building full of secretaries. No offense to anyone that may work there, I'm sure you work hard, but we don't need you. We can take care of our schools right here.
Thank you. Yes, exactly right.
Schools were initiated as a local agenda.
That's right.
With the government was involved in it, with the community.
So don't you think if my school should be different than Ohio schools, or maybe we're a farming community? So if we want to have a lot more 4-H's, and those are the programs we want, it is a local, it's your culture, it's what you want. So how can Washington say, you know what, Fort Wayne, not doing so well, let's revamp them?
But they'll never be coming. What are we gonna do?
But half the money is spent on these people determining that we did no good.
Right.
Well, let's stop letting them determine that, we'll determine ourselves and save us a couple bucks, I mean, or a couple lines of credit.
Thank you. It requires a whole different state of mind, and our tongue is not lined up with the reality of what is going on. It's the essence of the nanny state. It's the essence of looking towards central government as the source of leadership and funding, and it happens, it permeates all the way down to the local township level.